We can go back to the beginning of camp, how it feels to be in a camp like this where you were in dev camp, but it must be different when you have actual competition going up against them.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. It's obviously a step up. You're playing against guys who've gotten games in the A and the coast and stuff. So I think just for me, it's just using like my youth and my freshness. It's my first experience. It's a first everything. So just getting in there and just not having time to be nervous. You get right in, you get a touch on your stick, and then you're away from there. So also, playing with good line mates and stuff helps. I mean, plays are on the tape and they move quick. So it was an adjustment, but just continuing to get more comfortable every shift.
What has it been like for you being in those competitive nature with guys who you said have been in the AHL or otherwise? And where do you see your game matched up?
It's huge. I mean, if you're a high-level athlete, you want to be in those situations. So for me, getting used to it at, as young as 18, going against those guys, it's huge. It's just going to make me a better player. And, I feel after just 2 games, a few practices, your speed comes up. You gotta push the pace as well. So I think just, continuing to play my game and use my assets, but then, continuing to round out my game and not be a one-dimensional player, but just do the simple things.
What is competition like this teaching you about what your game is and where it needs to be? I know you mentioned a little bit there, but...
Obviously, growing up and stuff, I was a skill guy, but, to get to the NHL level, you have to be able to do everything right. You got to be able to make the simple plays. So for me, it's just continuing to, track hard, be a 200-foot player. So, building that trust with the coaching staff and your line mates is huge. So just, being on pucks in the O-zone, working the net, you're not going to get the lane every time. You're going to have 2-3 guys on you. So continue to make plays, but keep your feet moving as well is huge.
Graeme, have you felt like you've been getting, a lot of opportunities here in this camp? We talked to Dino before, and he said, this is a real big opportunity for you at this part of camp.
Yeah, I think it was good to play in all situations, and it's been good. I think everyone's getting reps here. He's kind of rolling 4 lines, which is everyone's touching the ice all the time. So it's good for everyone. Obviously, not the results we've kind of wanted the first 2 games, but I think with this tournament, like everyone's just trying to show stuff individually, and you're just trying to get better each game. So there's definitely things we can improve on, but I thought there was some positives from today. It was just a couple breakdowns, myself included. I think that's going to happen, but if we just keep building, it'll be okay.
How different is it for a player who's, whether it's their first year of this type of camp versus someone like you who really has an eye on making that push for the NHL spot? Does it feel different? Like, how do you sort of approach those 2 sides of it?
Yeah, I try and help guys out too, because I think the system that we're trying to play here is a little different than guys could play in junior or any other teams that they played before. So I think that's the biggest adjustment for a lot of guys. And then, just trying to help and, with the little practice time that we have and stuff, just trying to get better each day is going to be important for all these younger guys. And like I said, just trying to help out and try and win on Monday, I guess.
But for you, when it comes to how you're playing and knowing that main camp is coming up, does it feel different than in years past a little bit, knowing where your game is at?
Yeah, I think it's just fine-tuning everything, and that's important to do. I think that was really the benefit for me to be here, and I'm really happy to be here just for that, to be able to, there's some things definitely today I can look back in the game where it's like, okay, I could have done that better. So just to clean up those little things is important for me, and I think it's important for everyone if they're trying to go to main camp or if they are going to main camp. So, just those little details are really important, and that's what people look for, so it's big for us.
What are some of those little details?
Yeah, I think just within the system, getting back to, in the summer you're doing individual skates or whatever, so to just know where you're supposed to be on the ice. And then I think we talk a lot about sticks, so just defensively sticks, stick on puck, knowing what position to angle your stick in, and then, just competing. I think that's the biggest thing that everyone looks for in a player. So if we can all just have a little higher compete, it's all going to be good.
I mean, we were just talking to both Squires and Graeme Clarke, 2 guys at this camp who are in very different stages of how maybe not approaching camp, but what's the biggest difference for a player like Graeme who wants to make a push versus someone like Cam who's starting things off?
Well, I think it's physical maturity as much as anything, I mean, it's amazing when you're 18, the difference between 18 and 20 or 21, and really physically, I think there's a lot of growth that happens in that stretch of life. So both are skilled players. They both are exciting to see where they're at. Certainly different stages right now, and but when you drop the puck and you go out there, they're playing against like age players, and it's a good opportunity for us to kind of rate where they are in their development.
How have you seen Squires in his first camp here?
Well, I thought Cam showed that he has some skill, certainly in practice. I think in games, There's a lot of growth to be done on the physical side and working to get stronger from everything from his shot. He put up points last year, but our expectations are that as he matures into what his potential is, that he'll be he's got a big frame, but he's slight right now. So those are the things that a lot of work goes in on and off the ice, and he's a kid with a good attitude, and he's excited about being here and learning, and we're excited to have him.
I know we talked about it a little bit a couple of days ago, but there is a position there in the bottom six, in the top 9 for New Jersey available up for grabs. Is Graeme at a point where he can truly make that type of push when camp opens?
Well, I think all of us were excited when we saw him coming out off his summer, the work that he put in. I also know there's a lot of guys that want that role right now, and I think he looked at this as an opportunity to stick out. And I think sometimes when you try so hard and you're out there and you want to make things happen, whether your shifts get a little lengthy or you're just trying to make plays that may not be there, I think sometimes that's a detriment. So, you know what? We still got another game left here. He's been an important piece of our puzzle, certainly in Utica last year, and we've got a letter on him here at rookie camp for a reason. So excited to see him in the last game and get into training camp.
He talked about being, more of that leadership role here. Are you seeing that from him, and what are those qualities that he has for a young group to be one of those leaders?
Well, I think it's just those little things. He's got great role models around him, whether it's the players he's been with Utica the last 2 years or certainly being around the players at training camp. So it's just little things. For me, it's, as I rode on the players bus here instead of the staff bus, and he's the guy telling everybody to sweep the sheds and make sure that everything's picked up, and makes life easy for the bus drivers. So, there's a lot of things that you kind of take for granted, but when you see it in action, you see that he's embraced that role.